I was walking through the bookstore the other day, and I saw this entire table just for moon magic.
Oh, yeah. It's huge right now.
And it strikes me that there's this huge misconception that it's all basically the same thing.
Hmm.
You grab a candle, you look up at the sky, make a wish, and bing, magic. It's all just the moon.
It's such a common generalization. It's kind of like saying all exercise is just running.
Right.
But if you're trying to build muscle versus, say, improve your cardio, you're doing two completely different things.
Exactly. And when you start digging into the actual literature,
Yeah.
you realize, oh, wait, the timing is everything.
It is.
If you do the right thing at the wrong time, you're basically just shouting into the void.
Or, worse, you're swimming upstream against a really strong current. And today, we're looking specifically at the new moon.
We are.
We're doing a deep dive into a text called Lunar Foundations, the Art of New Moon Spellcraft.
And it isn't just a list of spells, it's tenacity. It's really a philosophy of timing. And what I love about this source is that it immediately draws this line in the sand. It distinguishes the new moon from the full moon so clearly, it's almost aggressive about it.
Yeah, it really does.
I think most people, myself included, usually think of the full moon as, like, the main event. It's big, it's bright, dramatic. It's the party.
The full moon is definitely the party. It's loud. It's all about culmination, peak energy, visibility. Everyone sees it.
Right.
But the source material we have today describes the new moon as something completely different. It calls it a time of darkness, stillness, and quiet potential.
Quiet potential.
Ah.
I love that. So if the full moon is the party, the new moon is, what, the quiet planning session on the couch before the invites even go out?
That is actually a perfect analogy. The whole mission for this deep dive is to really understand how to use the specific phase.
Okay.
Because the text hammers this home. The new moon is for setting foundations. It is not about the fireworks. It's about what happens in the dark.
Which sounds a little spooky, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm into it. I'm ready to embrace the aesthetic. But I also really want to understand the mechanics, because apparently there are things you definitely should not do during this phase.
There are. And what's fascinating is, even if you aren't fully into the witchy aspect, the text frames all of this as a system of psychological preparation.
Oh, interesting.
It's about syncing your internal state with an external cycle.
Okay, so let's start there with the vibe. The text says the atmosphere of the new moon is darkness and stillness.
Right.
And, I mean, when I look up at the sky during a new moon, you literally can't see it. It's just gone.
It's invisible, and that invisibility is the most important part. The source says that energetically, this phase is reflective rather than expressive.
Reflective, not expressive. Okay.
Think about it. In our world, we are obsessed with being expressive, constantly putting things out, doing, posting, showing results.
All the time.
A new moon asks you to just stop. It's a pause.
That is surprisingly hard to do. I feel like if I'm not doing something, I'm failing.
That's the modern condition, isn't it? But the text argues you can't be in a constant state of harvest. You need a state of dormancy.
You need to rest.
And listen. And decide what you actually want to nurture before the growth even begins.
So it's active stillness.
Exactly. The text uses a really powerful metaphor here, the gardening analogy. It says to think of new moon magic as preparation magic, not completion magic.
Okay, let's unpack the gardening thing, because I kill every plant I touch, so I need you to walk me through this.
Huh, fair enough. Well, think about a plant's cycle. The full moon is the harvest. It's when the tomato is red and heavy on the vine. Everyone can see it. You pick it.
Right, completion.
That's the completion. But you can't have a harvest if you never planted the seeds.
Of course.
The new moon is the soil work. It's digging the hole, putting the seed in the dark earth and covering it up. And here's the key. When you cover a seed with dirt, what does it look like?
It looks like a pile of dirt. It looks like nothing is happening.
Precisely. But that moment buried in the dark is where life actually triggers. If you dig it up every 5 minutes to check on it,
You kill it.
you kill it. The new moon is about trusting that the work you do in the dark is valid, even if you can't see the little green shoot yet.
That's actually really comforting. It takes the pressure off. Because I feel like with manifestation stuff, or even just setting goals at work, you feel like you need to see the result immediately. But this is saying, no, the work right now is just to plant it properly.
The text says the power lies in its subtlety. It invites inward focus and clarity. If you try to force a harvest during a planting season, you're just going to get frustrated.
Okay, so we're standing in the metaphorical garden. We've got our shovel. We are ready to plant. But what are we planting? The source gives us a specific yes list. 5 categories of spells that work best here.
Let's do it.
The first one is intention setting. This feels, I don't know, pretty obvious. But is there a specific way the text wants us to do this? Is it just, I want $1 million?
Not quite. The text distinguishes between a wish and an intention. It suggests focusing on what is beginning.
Okay.
So career goals, relationship intentions, emotional healing paths. It's about identifying the trajectory. Think of it less like ordering from a menu and more like setting a compass heading.
I like that, the compass idea. It's about direction, not just destination.
Exactly. And that leads perfectly into the second category, manifestation seeds.
Now, how is this different from just general manifestation? I feel like manifesting is such a buzzword now, it's kind of lost all meaning.
It has, but the text makes a really nuanced point here. It distinguishes seeds from full manifestation.
Right.
Full manifestation often implies the thing has arrived, the car is in the driveway. The new moon is about opening pathways. It's about calling in the opportunities that will lead to the result.
Oh, okay. So instead of a spell for, I have a new job today,
Right, an instant result.
it's more like I am opening the door to the right conversations that will lead to that job.
Yes, you're clearing the road. The source notes that these spells are designed to grow stronger as the moon waxes. As it gets brighter over the next 2 weeks, you're starting the momentum.
Got it. Okay, this third one is where you got to help me out. Self-transformation. The text mentions identity shifts and shadow integration. Now, shadow work is another one of those terms I see on TikTok constantly. What does the text actually mean by this? We're just sitting in the dark feeling bad about ourselves.
That's a common fear. But no, shadow integration in this context is about acknowledging the parts of yourself you usually hide or suppress. Since the new moon is a time of darkness, it's actually the safest time to look at your own dark side.
Can you give me a concrete example? Like, what does that look like in a ritual?
Sure, let's say you struggle with imposter syndrome. A full moon spell might be, I am confident and shiny.
Right. Very declarative.
But a new moon shadow spell would be sitting down, lighting a candle, and writing, why do I feel like a fraud? What is this fear trying to protect me from?
It's about making friends with the fear so you can transform it.
Oh, that's much deeper. It's internal architecture.
It is. It says, this is where internal magic thrives. You're changing the foundation of the house, not just painting the walls.
Okay, that clicks. Now, on the flip side, number 4 is surprisingly practical. Habits and routines.
I love this one because it connects the magical to the mundane. We tend to think magic has to be all lightning bolts.
Totally.
But the new moon is perfect for starting wellness routines, spiritual disciplines, or just building consistency.
So if I want to start going to the gym, or I want to finally start flossing every day, that's new moon magic.
Ideally, yes. You are planting a seed of behavior. You want that behavior to grow and stick as the moon grows.
The new moon is the cosmic Monday morning.
Essentially, yes. It has that clean slate energy. And finally, number 5, spiritual alignment. The text mentions things like grounding and intuition. And I have to stop you here. Grounding. Everyone says it. You need to ground yourself. Does the text explain what that actually means? Am I just standing barefoot on the grass?
It can be, but the text defines grounding as connecting your energy to the physical reality. It's about somatic awareness, feeling gravity, feeling your feet on the floor. It's getting out of your head where all the anxiety lives and into your body.
So it's about stability.
Right. Before you go out and play the symphony, you have to tune the strings. Spiritual alignment during the new moon is just tuning your own instrument so you're ready for the month ahead.
Okay, so that's the yes list. We're planting, we're tuning, we're setting the compass. But here is where I got confused. I really want to challenge this a bit. The no list.
The no list. This is usually where people realize they've been doing it wrong.
Well, yeah, because the text says the new moon is not for banishing, cord cutting, or release rituals. And I have to play devil's advocate. If we're using the gardening analogy, isn't the first step of gardening pulling out the weeds?
It is, yeah.
So why wouldn't I banish my toxic ex or my bad habits before I plant the new seeds?
That is such a logical question. And in a physical garden, you're absolutely right. But in energy work, as the source explains it, you have to look at the direction of the flow.
Good flow.
The new moon initiates the waxing phase. The moon is growing. The tide is coming in.
Okay, so the energy is increasing.
Right. The fundamental movement of the new moon is attraction and growth. Banishing is an energy of repelling and reduction.
Oh.
So if you try to push something away while the cosmic current is trying to pull things in, you are just fighting the tide.
Oh, wow. So if I try to banish my ex while the energy is in growth mode, what happens? Do I accidentally grow his presence in my life?
You might. Or, more likely, the spell just falls flat because it has no support. The text calls banishing and releasing reductive actions. You want to do those when the moon is waning, getting smaller. That's when the universe is exhaling. The new moon is an inhale.
That is a huge distinction. It's not about good magic versus bad magic. It's about physics.
It's energetic physics. You don't empty the cup while you're trying to fill it.
So save the cord cutting for 2 weeks later.
Wait for the full moon or the waning moon. That's your time to weed the garden.
Okay, that resolves my confusion.
Okay.
We are inhaling. We are filling the cup. Now let's talk gear, the toolkit. Because I love a good shopping list, but the text actually starts with a disclaimer. Simplicity is powerful.
It really emphasizes that you do not need 1,000 intricate tools. You don't have to buy out the entire metaphysical shop.
It lists very specific, very accessible items. Candles, obviously. It says black or white.
Again, keeping it to the basics of light and shadow. White for clarity, new beginnings. Black for absorbing negativity or for exploring that shadow work we talked about.
Crystals.
It lists moonstone, which is pretty obvious for a lunar connection. Labradorite, which is great for that magic and mystery vibe. And clear quartz, which is just the universal amplifier. It's like the volume knob for your intention.
And herbs. I felt like I was reading a soup recipe. Bay leaf, basil, cinnamon, lavender. I have all of these in my kitchen right now.
That's the point. Magic should be accessible.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for these. Basil and cinnamon are hot herbs. They stimulate, they speed things up, they attract prosperity, they're growth boosters.
Like fertilizer.
Exactly. Whereas lavender is soothing for that mental clarity.
Yeah.
And bay leaf is a classic.
I usually just throw it in chili and I hope I don't choke on it. How do we use it here?
In spellcraft, bay leaf is excellent for writing on. You write your wish or intention directly on the leaf and then you burn it. It's a very visceral way of releasing that intention into the ether.
I love that. It's tactile. And speaking of writing, the text mentions journals and petitions.
Writing's a huge part of new moon work. Since this is all about mental and spiritual preparation, getting the words out of your head and onto paper is a magical act in itself. A petition is just a formal way of writing down what you want.
Okay, so we have our basil, our bay leaf, our candle. The source outlines a simple new moon spell structure. And I love that they keep it to 6 steps. Can we walk through these?
Let's do it. Step 1,
Right.
Cleanse your space. This could be burning some herbs or literally just tidying up the room. Clutter blocks flow.
Step 2, ground yourself, which we now know means tune the instrument. Get in your body.
Step 3, clarify your intention. This is probably the hardest part. You have to know exactly what you're asking for.
Right. I want to be happy is probably too vague.
Way too vague. The universe can't deliver a package if the address is blurry. I want to cultivate a daily practice of gratitude that leads to emotional stability. That's an intention.
Okay, sure. Step 4, speak or write it.
Bringing it into the physical world.
Step 5, anchor it symbolically. This is where you light the candle or hold the crystal or burn that bay leaf. You're giving the thought a physical form.
Yep.
And then step 6, this is the one I struggle with the most. Release attachment to the outcome.
The hardest step, but absolutely crucial. You plant the seed and then you have to walk away.
But why is that so hard? I feel like if I really want something, I should be thinking about it 24/7.
I know, but the text explains that obsession is actually a signal of lack. If you are constantly checking to see if the magic worked, you're basically shouting to the universe, I don't trust you.
You're micromanaging.
You're micromanaging, and energetic micromanaging suffocates the seed.
You're digging it up to check the roots.
And killing it in the process. You have to trust the darkness. You have to trust the cycle.
That leads us really well into the section on ethics and responsibility.
Yeah.
Because micromanaging the universe, or worse, micromanaging other people, is a big red line in this text.
It is. The text takes a very strong stance here. It talks about healthy magic, focusing on self-growth and consent.
Yeah, it explicitly lists what to avoid. Manipulation magic, obsession spells, and domination work. Basically, any love spell targeting a specific person is a no-go.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to frame this not just morally, but also strategically.
Right, because aside from the just ick factor of trying to control someone's free will, the text argues it's just bad strategy.
It is. The principle here is true new beginnings require integrity. If you are trying to bend someone else's will, you aren't planting a seed of growth, you're planting a seed of control.
That's going to create a toxic root system.
It's going to create a toxic root system. The relationship you get from that spell will be brittle and controlling because that's the energy you put into it.
I love the phrasing it uses here. Alignment over control.
Yes. Instead of trying to lasso a specific person, you become a magnet for the type of love you want. You change your own frequency to match what you're looking for.
Be the magnet, not the lasso. That's a bumper sticker right there.
It's a healthier way to live, magic or not.
There's also a really interesting technical distinction made here between a ritual and a spell. I kind of use them interchangeably, but the text says they're different tools.
Yeah, it clarifies that a ritual aligns your energy while a spell directs your intention.
Okay, break that down for me.
A ritual is general. Lighting a candle and meditating to feel calm, that's a ritual. You're aligning your internal state. You aren't asking for anything specific, you're just shifting your vibe.
Got it.
A spell is specific. Lighting a candle and focusing on attracting a specific career opportunity in marketing, that's a spell. You're directing energy like a laser beam toward a specific outcome.
And the text says both are valid.
Both are valid and both are powerful. In fact, you often do a ritual to get into the right headspace to then cast a spell. They work together.
This whole deep dive has really shifted my perspective on what this phase is for. It feels less like casting magic tricks and more like, I don't know, spiritual hygiene.
Yeah.
Or strategic planning for your soul.
It really is strategic planning. And that connects to the long game concept the source discusses towards the end. It talks about the power of consistent new moon practice.
Yeah, it says it's not about one night. You don't just do this once, get your result, and retire.
It's about building a spiritual rhythm. Think about it. If you commit to sitting down every 29.5 days in the dark to check in with yourself, clarify your intentions, and plant new seeds, think about where you'd be in a year.
That's 12 or 13 times you've realigned your compass.
Exactly. The text says the magic compounds over time. It's discipline, just like going to the gym. One workout doesn't change your body, but consistent movement does. One spell might not change your life, but consistent alignment will.
It's honoring the cycle. We aren't machines. We can't be on all the time. We need that dark phase.
We do. We need the rest. We need the soil.
Here's a quote in the final thoughts of the text that I think just it sums this whole vibe up perfectly. It says, "New moon spells aren't loud. They're quiet commitments made in the dark."
That is beautiful. And it reminds us that we don't always need to be performing our growth. We don't need to post about it on Instagram. The most important changes often happen when absolutely no one is watching.
Every transformation begins unseen. That's the takeaway for me.
Yeah.
Just because you can't see the results yet doesn't mean the work isn't happening. It's just underground.
Precisely. Trust the soil.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the new moon, we want to leave you with something to chew on.
The text leaves us with this final thought. What you plant in darkness grows in the light. So my challenge to you is to consider, what is the seed that you have been ignoring? What is the thing that needs to be planted during your next quiet moment? Not for anyone else to see, but just for you.
Ooh, that's a good one. What are you planting in the dark? Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Catch you in the next cycle.
Take care.